Hi everyone and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So in today's video we are going to be going through all of my pickups from the Isle of Wight trip. So this is everything from the sort of during the week while I was out. So from the Sunday that I arrived right the way through to the following Saturday. And then in next week's video we're actually going to be visiting the Sunday boot fair on the island. There was just too much to go through in one video, so I've split that boot fair off into a separate one. So you'll see that next week. But for this week we've got some absolutely amazing pickups, and I'm going to dive straight in with the CEX pickups from Newport. So as I said in the video, the Newport is the main town on the island, and in that town they've got a CEX. I've got a couple of other shops that I visited as well, but I was only able to pick up a couple of bits from CEX. And the first one that we've got is actually a PS Vita game, which we've not picked up a Vita game in absolutely ages. So really chuffed to get this one. This is Everybody's Golf on the PS Vita. And yeah, I love picking these up because these are the sort of golf games that I actually enjoy. The more arcadey and yeah, sort of cartoony golf games. I much prefer these over things like Tiger Woods and everything like that. So as you can see, I paid £8 for this one, and where are we? It goes for about £15 not CEX, on eBay. It's got the little slip inside. I don't know how complete that is. Obviously with Vita, PS4 and PS5 it can vary. So yeah, that was a good pickup. Then carrying on with the PlayStation theme, I did pick up a PS4 game that I've been absolutely dying to pick up physically, and that is Until Dawn. So I have got this digitally. I think I originally got it on, I think it must have been sort of PlayStation Plus, and I've played it a couple of times, never completed it. But I just think it is an absolutely amazing game, and I've been really wanting to pick it up physically. It's been on my wish list for quite a while now, and I saw it at CEX and just decided, you know what, I'm just going to grab it now. So I paid £6 for it out of CEX. Looking it up online, it goes for about £12 on eBay. So yeah, half the price, which is really good. Then next up, I picked up a couple of Xbox One games. And the first one that we've got is actually a sequel to a game that I've already got. So I wanted to add this in because I have been playing it. I've been playing it on Game Pass. But once again, I like to get things physically for when they are removed from Game Pass. And that is Doom Eternal. So I will say I don't think this game will ever get removed from Game Pass as long as it exists. Obviously with Microsoft owning Bethesda and Bethesda owning ID, I don't think the Doom games are ever going to be removed from Game Pass. But yeah, I saw it there, wanted to get it physically because being a physical collector, I wanted to make sure I had it. And yeah, so I picked that up for £6. It goes for about £8 on eBay. So not a massive saving, but still, for me, it was more just being able to get it into the collection. And then another Xbox One game that we got was another sequel, and it's another game that I've been wanting to play because I played the original, completed the original, and was a bit meh with the ending of the original. And that is Rage 2. So another ID game. So I loved the original Rage, played it through, absolutely loved it. The big thing that I didn't like about it was that when you completed the final mission, it just stopped. There was no going back to the world, going out exploring, picking up any side missions that you'd missed or anything like that. It just ended. The only way to get back into the game was to reload your last save. So hopefully this is a bit different. From what I've played of it, it looks really good. The graphics are a massive step up, and yeah, with the gameplay that I've actually played of this so far, it looks really good, but I don't think it was that well reviewed. So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to play a bit more of it to actually get to the parts where it gets good or bad. I don't know. But yeah, I saw it on there, wanted to pick it up, and for £3 I wasn't going to leave it. So yeah, it goes for £3 at CEX and £5 on eBay. And then 2 more games that I picked up at CEX were on the Wii U. So the first one that we got was the Wonderful 101. I'll be honest, I've heard of it. I haven't really seen too much about it, but I saw it there and yeah, just decided to have a go. More so because I've got a bit of an addiction at the moment for the Wii U. And anytime I see any Wii U games, I will always grab them. But obviously, couldn't grab every single Wii U game that CEX had. So yeah, decided to grab Wonderful 101. And I have to admit, the bit I've played of it was really, really good. So it is essentially, best way to describe it is probably a side-scrolling beat-em-up. And yeah, it's definitely one that I'm going to go back and play. I know that it is... I think is it a follow-up to something else? I'm not too sure of the background on it, but yeah, from what I've played so far, it is a really good game. So paid £10 for it at CEX. It goes for about £15 on eBay. It is as complete as I can tell. Yeah, I think it is complete because it's got the little brochure inside to say that it's got a digital instruction booklet. And then the final game that we've got is one that we've actually got in the collection already. And that is Lego City Undercover. So I actually picked this up on a recent video. But the problem that I've got, the disc that I've got, doesn't actually work. And it was, I think I bought it off eBay, but by the time I actually got to capture footage for it, the return window had long shut and there was nothing I could do. So yeah, I basically had the case, the manual, everything, but the disc just didn't work. And it was really annoying because the disc, you look at the disc and the disc is pristine. There's no scratching, no nothing. It doesn't even look like it's been resurfaced. But yeah, it just didn't work. So what I wanted to do was, while I was in, I saw they had this. I think actually when I was up at the till paying for everything, they had a stack of games. And I was asked, oh, can I have a quick look through? Saw it there and just decided to grab it. I mean, I hummed and hawed for a minute, but in the end up, I decided to grab it because I just wanted to get it into the collection. So for £3, yeah, it wasn't a bad shout. Disc only goes for about £5 on eBay. So yeah, really happy with that. And that is all of the CEX pickups. So now we move on to the trip out to Sandown, and the first shop that we went into, which was Curiosity. And we went into this shop last year and got some really good games. I think I might have got a couple of N64 games. I know I definitely got a PS1 game. I might have got a couple of PS1 games, but I know I definitely picked up some really good games from there. And I've gone and done it again because the first game that I've got is a PS1 game. It hasn't got the case or the back cover, but it has got everything else. And that is Sesame Street Elmo's Letter Adventure. Now, there is a reason for me picking this up, rightly or wrongly, because I know that some of the Sesame Street games are actually worth really good money. So I decided to just grab this. The big thing that I had with the Isle of Wight is mobile reception on the island is so spotty. It's unbelievable. So there's a lot of times where I couldn't get mobile reception, so I couldn't look things up before I picked them up. So yeah, I ended up just having a go at this. Not sure if it was one of the good ones to pick up or not. Yeah. So it goes for £7 on eBay. There's no CEX price for it. So yeah, not a massive one. I think I paid £3 for it, but even still, it's another one to add to the PS1 collection. I am going to try and get the back cover and get a case to put it in, and then at least it is complete. Then next up, we got another PS1 game, and this is Colony Wars Red Sun. Now, when I was doing the research for this video, I actually found out that this is part of a trilogy. So I'm probably going to look into getting hold of the other games in the trilogy, because from what I've played of this so far, looks really good. So it is a sort of, you're flying in a ship and it's more of a shooter, but you've got sort of missions tied to that. So like the first mission, you're on an escort mission, and you've essentially got to shoot down anything that's trying to attack the convoy. So yeah, it's a really interesting game. Definitely one I'm probably going to put some more time into. And yeah, we'll see how we get on with that. So paid £4 for that. It is complete, which is really good. And once again, not listed at CEX, but goes for about £8 on eBay. Then next up, we also staying in curiosity, we're still there for a moment. We've got an original Xbox game, and we've got Half-Life 2. So one of the reasons that I wanted to pick this up was obviously we've got Half-Life on the PS2, which was the only console release of that, and I believe that the Xbox version of Half-Life 2 is the only no, it's not, because we've got the orange box. So yeah, no, there's actually multiple releases of Half-Life 2, but I don't know if there's the I think the Xbox one might be the only standalone. So we've obviously got orange box, which has Team Fortress, Half-Life 2 and Portal, and then yeah, this is obviously standalone. So yeah, I think this might be the only standalone version there was. I don't think the Half-Life 2 was released on the PS2. So yeah, what can you say about Half-Life 2? It is an absolutely brilliant game. Just like the first Half-Life, they're in a league of their own. Absolute legends. So yeah, decided to pick that up. Paid £4 for that one. Goes for £6 at CEX and £7 on eBay. And then next up, we managed to get a couple of boxed Game Boy Advance games. So yeah, anytime I see Game Boy Advance games, Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, anything like that that's boxed for a reasonable price, I will always grab them. And the first one that we've got is Stuart Little 2. Now, this one was a bit problematic because when I bought it, picked it up, I think I opened the top to see that the manual and the cart was inside, which I thought, brilliant, not a problem. Sort of got back to the caravan. Later that night, I was opening it all up and then realised that the manual that was inside it was actually not the Stuart Little 2 manual. It was actually Shrek's Swamp Kart Speedway, which is an absolutely mammoth manual. It is like War and Peace for the Game Boy Advance. So unfortunately, I don't have the manual for Stuart Little 2, but I will try and track it down. I think I've done a search on eBay for it. Can't find the manual on its own at the moment. But yeah, I will keep looking. But we paid £4 for Stuart Little 2. Not listed at CEX, but goes for £7 cart only. Couldn't actually find just a box and a cart. All I could find was complete in box. So yeah, £7 cart only. So £4, that is a good pickup. And then the other one that we've got is complete, right the way down to the little bag that the cart comes in, and that is Shark Tale. So yeah, I've played a couple of the Shark Tale games, and I'll probably say actually out of all the ones that we've played, the Game Boy Advance one is probably the better one. I probably enjoyed this one more than the other one. Or the other versions, should we say. I think the main console versions are all pretty much the same, but yeah, the handheld version is a bit different, and I actually say, yeah, it's a bit nicer to play. So yeah, with Shark Tale, we paid £4 for that again. Once again, not listed at CEX, but complete in box goes for about £7. And then another shop that I went into when I was in Sandown, I didn't actually put some footage of this in the video, but I popped into one of the charity shops that was in the high street. I managed to pick up a couple of DVDs. So the first one I got was Wallace and Gromit: The Complete Collection. So this has got 4 of the Wallace and Gromit films on. And yeah, it was there. I just decided to grab it, to be honest. What they were doing in this charity shop was they didn't have any set prices for DVDs. It was just a case of you make a donation. So I think I ended up paying about 50p each for the DVDs. So yeah, pick that one up. Haven't got any prices written down for these. I'll be honest, just because I forgot. And then the other DVD that I picked up was Cult Sci-Fi Legends. So this is 3 hours of classic sci-fi animation. You've got Transformers, Inhumans, Shadow Razors, Visionary, Bucky O'Hare, yeah, and a couple of different versions of Transformers. So yeah, I saw that and just decided to grab it. Obviously I've got the complete series of Bucky O'Hare on DVD. Visionaries I think I've got downloaded on the PC, so I can watch them when I want. Same with Transformers, but there are a couple of series that if I ever come across the DVDs I will definitely be picking them up. So yeah, picked that one up as well for 50p. Then we move on to a different town. So we went into Shanklin, which was just a bit further down the coast from Sandown. And in there we went to a couple of shops that we actually visited last year. And I have to say we definitely done really well out of them this year. So the first one that we went into was a shop called Arcade Games. And in there I absolutely loved that store. When I first walked into it last year, I was actually breathless because it was the first time I'd ever been into a game shop like that. Literally all the shelves are stacked. Then you get to the back and it's all sort of floor to ceiling. Just, it was... I didn't know where to look when I went in there last year, but obviously this time around I knew a bit of what to expect, so I was able to focus a bit more. But last year when I was in there I did pick up a couple of bits, but when I looked them up on CEX they were actually a bit cheaper at CEX, so I decided to leave them. But this time when I went in, I actually managed to, I don't think I could get on the CEX app. CEX app wouldn't work for me, so I was scanning them on eBay and everything I picked up was cheaper on eBay, so I ended up going for it. And the first load of games that I got were actually a load of GameCube games. So we are going to be adding some more GameCube games to the shelves, which is really good. And the first one that we've got is Black and Bruised. So this is a cartoon style boxing game. And yeah, once again, it is very sort of, not slapdash, not, basically it's very comical, very sort of in your face. So right up my avenue with a sort of sense of humour. And yeah, I thought it was a really good game. It's not one that I've heard of before. That was another reason why I wanted to pick it up. But what I managed to do is managed to get this with the next game on a 2 for £15 deal. So I actually got them both for £7 each. Black and Bruise goes for £5 at CEX. So once again, a bit cheaper than CEX. But £8 on eBay, so a bit cheaper than the eBay price. Yeah, as I say, the CEX app didn't work for me when we were in Shanklin, so I had to base it off the eBay prices to find out what they were worth. But what I found with a lot of the dedicated gaming shops on the Isle of Wight is that they will base their prices off CEX and then just add a bit to them. I actually experienced it in one of the shops that I went in last year, which I didn't go in this year. I was literally standing next to the guy. I was sort of like, oh, how much was this N64 cart? I think it was the Rugrats on N64. And she took it off me, went back to the PC that was behind his cash register. I could see it because I was standing off to the side of his till, and I saw him look it up on CEX, saw him find the price of, like, I think it was £3, and then he turned around and said, oh, it'll be £4. I was like, but CEX are £3. Why would I pay you more than what they're charging? Well, that's the price we're going to do. No problems, mate. I will go off the CEX, because at least then I've got a guarantee. If there was any problems with it, once I got home, I could go back to the local CEX. Whereas if there was any problems with his cart, I was stuck. So, yeah, I have found that a lot of the shops on the island base their prices off CEX, and then they add some to it. So that can be a bit disappointing, because, as I say, the way that I view it is that if I wanted to pay CEX prices, I'll go to CEX, and at least then I've got the guarantee. But back onto the games and away from my little rant, the next game that we picked up was Defender. So as I say, this was once again in a 2 for £15. saw this, obviously saw it as Defender, thought, do you know what, that might be an interesting one to pick up. And I have to say, it's not too bad. So it's basically a 3D version of Defender. And yeah, it's an okay game. It's not going to win any awards or anything like that, but it was an enjoyable game to play. I think I played it for about 20 minutes, half an hour, and yeah, was not unhappy playing it. What is good about this one is complete. Black and Bruised, I don't know if I say didn't have the manual, unfortunately, but just because it was a game that I hadn't seen and it looks really good, that's why I picked it up. But yeah, Defender, paid £7.50 for that. Goes for about £10 on eBay. So yeah, a nice pickup. And then the final GameCube game that I picked up from Arcade Games, that's remember that one, was Carmen Sandiego, The Secret of the Stolen Drum. Now, I grew up watching the Carmen Sandiego cartoons. Excuse me. But the ones that I watched were the ones from the sort of late 80s, early 90s. Whereas this is a sort of 2000s remake of that. But I wanted to pick it up anyway. It was, once again, it's not a game that I've seen before. I knew that there were Carmen Sandiego games on the GameCube. Never actually seen them at sort of CEX or anywhere else I've been, so decided to grab it. It is complete, which is good. And yeah, for the little bit of it that I've played, I'll be honest, I got about 10 minutes into it, couldn't work out where to go. No, this wasn't this one. It was another one. Yeah, what did I do? I got all the way through the first level, got into the second level. So I think I basically went through the first two stages before I sort of knocked it on the head and moved on to the next game that I needed to capture footage for. But yeah, from what I played, it was really good. Do you know what? I play so many games at the moment, but it's all in very sort of short, sharp bursts that sometimes they all get mixed up. So we paid £15 for that. Goes for £10 at CEX and £15 on eBay. And then another thing that I picked up when we were in there was some strategy guides and some magazines. So I have been picking up strategy guides whenever I see them. And I've actually got a video coming up in a couple of weeks' time where I actually pick up a whole load of strategy guides from Nicky, the guy that we buy from sometimes at the boot fair. Yeah, I bought a whole load off him. And we'll be going through them in a couple of weeks. But these are the ones that I've been picking up recently. So the first one that we got is Pokemon Rangers Guardian Signs. And yeah, I will admit, I've not played any of the Pokemon Rangers games. This is the DS one. And so I can't really say too much about the games, but it was a Pokemon strategy guide. So I just automatically pick these up anytime I see them. I think we paid £10 for that one, and it goes for about £20 on eBay. So yeah, it is a good pickup. Overall, it's in really good condition. There's a bit of dirt on the front cover, which I'm going to have to sort of clean off. But other than that, there's no rips or any real marks on it. So yeah, not too bad there. Then next up, we've got a game. The next two that we've got actually are two strategy guides that I haven't really seen before. So that was the big reason for picking them up. The first one is Super Mario Galaxy 2. Yeah, I just haven't ever seen a Super Mario Galaxy strategy guide, so I wanted to pick it up. It's in good condition apart from a small bit of damage to the bottom of the spine, but I'll be honest, I can probably live with that. What did we pay? We paid £5 for that one, and looking it up online, it goes for about £12 on eBay, so just a little over sort of half price. And then the other one I've got, I will say this next one, probably in hindsight I should have just left it, because it's not in the best of conditions, but it is the Mario Kart 7 official game guides. And I think the reason I picked it up was because I haven't ever seen a game guide for Mario Kart before. So got a bit blindsided by it. But yeah, as you can see, there's quite a lot of damage to both the front and the back cover, where it looks like they were sort of pre-owned game like pre-owns from game, and yeah, whoever's got them has just sort of ripped them off quickly. So yeah, I picked it up, but yeah, I think this one I probably should have left, but it is, as I say, it's not one that I've seen, so that was the big reason for picking it up. Paid £5 for that one. Goes for about £10 on eBay. So what I may look to do is in the future I may look to replace it. And then I also got a couple of other bits from the sort of same area. And the first one that we've got is the Ultimate 80s Retro Gaming Collection. So this is a magazine that was released by makers of Retro Gamer. And yeah, it just goes into sort of detail about loads of different games. So we've got Tetris. I think when I've looked through it, there we go, we've got Mario. And there we go, that's the page that I found. The making of Outrun. Yeah, I am a massive Outrun fan. And yeah, it is just, I like these sort of magazines. I mean, whenever I see them, I do like to pick them up. One of the things I would like to pick up is I would like to start getting Nintendo Power, but unfortunately all the ones that I've seen at the moment are just so expensive. So yeah, I just can't bring myself to pay that sort of money for them, unfortunately. But yeah, I would love to have, if not a full set, at least a subset of Nintendo Power magazines. But hey ho. But what I will say is, so the Ultimate 80s magazine was just thrown in. Actually, didn't charge me for those because of everything else that I'd bought. Looking it up online, it goes for about £12 on eBay. So that was a really good pickup. And then the last thing that I bought out of Arcade Games was a large Lilac Wars manual. So this is the manual that goes into the big box Lilac Wars. And the reason that I picked it up was because, one, it just looked cool. And secondly, it gave me a bit more options with regards to Lilac Wars. So I do have a cart-only version of Lilac Wars, but unfortunately it has been put somewhere when we moved. When we moved in here, it was put somewhere. I know it's in the house somewhere, because I remember seeing it in a box with a load of other games when we moved in. But I just haven't been able to find it since. So I'm hoping it's not been accidentally thrown away. But I'm also getting to the point where I think I'm going to have to just re-buy all the games that are in that box. Because there was some really good games in there. So I think we've got Yoshi's Story on the N64, Wave Race 64, Lilac Wars, Street Fighter 2 on the SNES, SNES. There was a couple of other SNES carts in there as well. So yeah, I probably am going to end up just going through and rebuying all of those ones again, which is a bit of a shame. But what it does allow me is, if I can find Lilac Wars in just the big box and the cart, then I can put the manual with it, and I've got some spare rumble packs as well, so that I can actually put that together and get it complete. So that was one of the reasons for picking this up as well. Looking it up online, the manual only goes for £12. So yeah, that was a really good pickup for absolutely nothing. So another shop that we visited while we were in Shanklin was a shop that we actually visited last year. And they were further down the high street last year, in a bit of a bigger store than what they were in this time. And that was a shop called Retro Hobby and Games. So yeah, I think when we went in there last year, I actually picked up a Sega Saturn game. I think it was Mass Destruction on the Sega Saturn, which was the second ever Sega Saturn game in the collection. So yeah, it was a shop that was high on my list to go back to. And I have to say, didn't disappoint at all this year either. So a really, really good selection. And one of the first couple of bits that I picked up was some more GameCube games. We'll get to them in a minute, because I also picked up some PS1 games. And the first game that I picked up was E.T. the Extraterrestrial 20th Anniversary Edition. And I have to say, playing this game, it was as weird as anything. So you are essentially helping Botanicus to basically save and collect flowers. So essentially what you've got to do is you've got to heal these sort of dying flowers, and then once you've healed them, you then collect them. Yeah, it's a really weird game, but I hadn't ever seen it before. So originally I saw a copy in Arcade Games. I think they had it priced up at about a tenner. Looked it up online, saw what it was going for, and I was like, no, I'm not going to pay that for it. And I think they want that was like double the eBay price. So I was like, no, I'll pick it up from eBay if I want it. Then when I went into Retro Hobby and Games, they also had a copy of it. It was priced up at $7.99, and I was like, I'm in an R-in, so I was like, I'll put it in my pile and I'll make a decision at the end. And then as I was going through the PS1 games right at the end, I then noticed that they had another copy there. So a game that I'd never seen, I then found 3 copies in the space of half an hour. And the third copy that I found was priced up at £5. So I was like, okay. So I opened up the case. It was complete. Had everything in it. So I was like, well, what do I pay? Do I pay $7.99 or do I pay £5? Bit of a no-brainer. So yeah, I ended up picking up the £5 copy. And yeah, just as I say, it was a game that sort of piqued my interest when I saw it. And it's a bit of a weird one. That's all I'm going to say with that one. So yeah, as I say, paid £5 for it. And no, actually I was wrong. Looking it up online, it goes for about £8 in complete condition. So yeah, a bit of a bargain with that one. And then the other PS1 game that I got was Kiss Pinball. So I remember seeing some people talk about this, some other collectors talking about it, and yeah, I saw it there, so I decided to pick it up. Now, I'll be honest, I do quite enjoy pinball games. I think the first one that I ever really remember playing was Sonic Spinball on the Mega Drive. And contrary to popular sort of opinion, I really enjoy it. I quite like Sonic Spinball. And then there's been various other pinballs that I've played throughout the years. I have to say, I was actually quite disappointed with this one. Because it was one, when I picked it up, it was one that I was actually looking forward to getting home and playing. But I just found that the game just didn't follow the ball like quick enough, and you was constantly sort of the ball was just getting sort of dropped out. Yeah, I will admit it's probably one of the worst pinball games that I've actually played. Which was a shame because it was, as I say, it was one that I was looking forward to playing. But we paid £5 for Kiss Pinball. Looking it up online, it goes for £6 on eBay. No CEX prices for either of the PS1 games, unfortunately. And then we move on to the GameCube games that we picked up. So, as I say, we picked up 3 GameCube games from this shop. The first one that we've got is Rugrats Royal Ransom. And yeah, this is essentially so Stu, Tommy's dad, has basically built this new play area with the middle bit of it looks like a castle. Angelica then steals prized possessions from each of the babies, and then you've got to go through and complete the different levels in order to get batteries to allow you to get up to the top of the tower to save your I think it was like a couple of soft toys, a doll. Phil and Lil had a tin of worms, I think, if I remember rightly. And I have to say, it was a really good game. I actually ended up playing it for a lot longer than I thought it would. So yeah, it's a Rugrats game. It's not really designed for people like me, but I have to say I did enjoy playing it. So for Rugrats we paid £10 for that. Goes for £8 at CEX, £15 on eBay. And I will say all of the GameCube games that we've got, no, all but one are complete. So Rugrats is complete. The next one's complete as well. and that is Spyro Enter the Dragonflies. So yeah, to be quite honest, it was a Spyro game. That was the main reason for picking it up. I have to say, I'm not the biggest fan of the Spyro games. I've played most of them, but I haven't completed any of them. I wouldn't say I'm a sort of a die-hard player of the Spyro games. But yeah, when you play them, they're enjoyable to play while you're playing them. But yeah, I for some reason just don't gravitate to them. When I'm looking for a game to play, when I'm just sort of sitting in the games room looking for something to play, it's not normally one of the Spyro games. But we paid £10 for Spyro. It goes for £8 at CEX again, £15 on eBay again. And then the third game that we've got was actually a bargain of a pickup, and that is Crash Nitro Racing. So we paid £10 for this. It doesn't have the manual, which is probably why they've priced it up there, because CEX have got it priced up at £15. And then the eBay price that I've got is £30, which I think is the complete price. But it was a game that I really wanted complete. So I actually, before I even left the Isle of Wight, I'd ordered the manual. I mean, by the time I got back to the caravan that night, just decided to have a search to see how much the manual was. Managed to get the manual for £5.99. So all in, I'm into it for about £16. So a little bit over the CEX price, but well under the eBay price. And for that, I've actually got the complete game, which is really, really good. I have played the Crash Nitro Kart game before, and yeah, it's a good karting game. The Crash games are really, really good. Probably, I'd say, out of sort of all of the karting games, it probably sits second to Mario Kart. But yeah, I saw it there, saw it for a tenner, and just knew that that was an absolutely amazing price to pick it up for. And then our final place that we went to was Sandown Boot Fair. And yeah, as you will see in the video, we got some absolutely cracking pickups. So from one store, we got a whole load of games, some DVDs, and we got a couple of plushes from another one. So the first game that we've got is a Game Boy game, Kart Only. So this is Rugrats the movie. Now, what I've actually found out since getting home, I was watching a completely unrelated video the other night, and what I found out was that the black carts are actually Game Boy games that were released during the Game Boy Color era. So they have got all of the programming to play it in colour, but they were also backwards compatible with the original Game Boy. I have to say, especially with this one, it is so noticeable because, yeah, when I was playing it, it just looked like it just looked next level with regards to the graphics. So yeah, you can definitely see that it was designed for one of the later consoles after the Game Boy. But once again, Rugrats was a really, really good game. So it was, I believe, I don't know, if I remember rightly, it was a side-scrolling platformer. And yeah, once again, it's quite funny because I've played a couple of the Rugrats games now, and I think there's only one of them that I've played that I didn't think was too great. I mean, that was the Rugrats in Paris on the Game Boy Color, I believe it was. But yeah, all the others that I've played have been really, really good. So for that one, we paid £1 for that. Looking it up online, it goes for about £4 Kart Only on eBay. Couldn't find a Kart Only price at CEX. I don't think they had the game listed at all. Then next up, we've got another Game Boy Kart, and this time it's a Game Boy Advance Lego Bionicles. I'll be honest, I picked this up with the other two Game Boy Karts that I got because they were doing them for £1. Game Boy Karts at £1, I'm always going to grab them. This game wasn't too great, so it was sort of like a top-down. I don't even know how to describe the game. You're seeing the footage at the moment. Yeah, let me know in the comments down below, how would you describe this game? But yeah, it wasn't one for me. Yeah, definitely won't be one that I'll be putting too much time in. But as I say, we paid £1 for that one. And that goes for £6 cart only on eBay. And the last Game Boy cart that we picked up was Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Another Game Boy Advance cart. And this I actually did really enjoy. So this is a side-scrolling beat 'em up where basically you can play either Anakin or Obi-Wan, and you basically use your lightsaber to battle through streams of droids that are coming through trying to kill you. Once again, graphics on this I thought were really, really good. What I will say is when I am playing and capturing footage for any of the Game Boy games, it's all done on my Game Boy player on my GameCube, so it might be a bit skewed with regards to sort of how the graphics look, but yeah, on that they definitely did look really good. So once again, paid £1 for that one. It goes for £14 cart only on eBay, so that was a really good pickup. Then next up, still with the same seller, I actually picked up a bundle of anime DVDs. So we've picked up DN Nation. We've got volume 1, 2, 3 and 5. From what I've seen online, it is a 7-volume series. So I'm going to have to try and track down volumes 4, 6 and 7. But I think with the full collection, can go for about £50. It is a really expensive collection. I don't know how sought after it is. But in the end, though, it worked out after sort of a bit wheeling and dealing for a couple of other bits that I was buying. They worked out at about £2 for all 4, so that was really good. They go for those 4 volumes go for about £11 at CEX, and they go for about £35 on eBay. I think the eBay price might be the full set. I couldn't find any sort of 4 volumes, like sets with 4 volumes in it. But yeah, definitely one I'm going to give it a go, see what it's like. If not, it'll get added into the anime collection. Then getting back to the games, we've got another PS1 game, and this is one after what you saw in that video. You will never see me play this game, and that is Dance Stage Disney Mix. So yeah, for those of you that didn't see the video last week, I did go on one of the Dance Stage, I think it's Dance Stage 2 Euro Mix, in the arcade on Sandown Pier, and to say it was Car Crash TV is probably being kind, because yeah, my coordination on it was absolutely atrocious. And there was even at points I was thinking about not putting it in the video. But I saw this there. It wasn't one that I had in the collection, so I wanted to pick it up. The footage that you're seeing, I'm actually using the controller to play this. So anytime that there's a double action, I basically can't do it because the controller won't take 2 inputs. But I have to say, I was really impressed with some of the song mixes on here. So I think the first song is like a Euro mix of the Mickey Mouse song, and the second song is a Euro mix of It's a Small World. So yeah, I was really, really impressed with some of the song mixes on this. So this one we ended up paying £2 for that. Goes for about £8 on CEX. Sorry, no, it goes for about £8 on eBay. There is no CEX price. But yeah, another PS1 game to add to the collection. Then next up, we carry on with what we were doing earlier on in the week, and that is picking up Wii U games. So the first Wii U game we got is Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Now, I know a lot of people actually prefer this version on the Wii U because of the multiplayer. I'll be honest, I'm not a big multiplayer fan. I'm even less of a Call of Duty multiplayer fan. But I have to say, when I was playing this through and comparing it to versions on like the Xbox 360 and the PS3, it wasn't far off. I couldn't really see any difference between sort of the 3 versions, from sort of gameplay to graphics. Yeah, it actually looked really competitive with the other consoles. I'll be honest, the main reason that I picked it up was to bolster my Wii U collection. I am really on a buying binge at the moment. Anytime I see Wii U, I do just grab them. So pick that one up for £4. It goes for £4 at CEX, £8 on eBay. So yeah, I have to disagree with what the seller said, that he could trade it into CEX for £4, because if they're selling it for £4, you're not going to get £4. But hey ho, it wasn't one that I had in the collection, so I was actually more than happy to pay that for it. Then next up is another game that I've seen and played briefly, and from what I have seen of it, it looks like an absolutely amazing game. And it's definitely one that I'm going to play a bit more of. Obviously, I have played it again to capture the footage for this, and that is Injustice: God Among Us. So this is essentially a DC-based fighting game. It's basically you're sort of following the story, and then at certain points you cut in and have a sort of one-on-one fight with either another DC character or villain. And yeah, I was really impressed. I'm probably going to see if someone has actually put together an Injustice sort of movie on eBay, on YouTube, sorry, where they basically show all of the cutscenes and actually sort of string it together like a movie. I've seen a couple of them. I think one that I've actually watched a couple of times was the Jurassic Park, the video game, the Telltale game. Someone's actually put that together in sort of like a Jurassic Park 1.5 movie. So I might see if someone's done that with this, because yeah, really interested to see how the story plays out with this. So we paid £4 for that. Goes for £5 at CEX, £7 on eBay. And the final game for today was an Xbox One game, and that is Super Bomberman R. So I absolutely love the Bomberman games. The first time I ever played it was Mega Bomberman on the Mega Drive, which I've still got my original cart. And yeah, this is very much sort of a HD version of that. It's not your grungy sort of sci-fi Bomberman that was released on the 360. It is very much back to the sort of cartoon aesthetics of the original Bomberman. And yeah, a really fun game. I think once again, this was a game that sort of drew me in. Played it for a lot longer than I was expecting. So we paid £4 for that one. Goes for £6 at CEX and £11 on eBay. And then the final two bits that I got, I was going to do them both together, was a couple of Mario plushies. So we've got normal Mario and then we've got Fire Mario. Paid 50p each for these. Normal Mario goes for £5.50 and Flame Mario goes for £8. And that is all of the pickups from the Isle of Wight. So before we wrap up the video, let's quickly run through the totals. So total spend was £170 and 99p. If we'd picked up everything we could from CEX, which I'll be honest is not a lot, we would have paid £83. And then if we picked up everything from eBay, we would have paid £373 and 50p. So yeah, some really good pickups there. Some ones that I'm absolutely dying to get into the collection, and some more there that I'm actually dying to play. So yeah, really chuffed with some of the games that I managed to pick up. But with that said, that is going to wrap up the video for today, and that's going to wrap up Isle of Wight sort of travel vlog, so to speak. As I said previously, next week's video is actually going to be from the Sunday boot fair on the Isle of Wight. I've got some absolutely banging deals there. Also, there's one stall that I went to that I was umming and ahhing about picking some stuff up, but in the end I didn't. Which, should I, shouldn't I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that. But yeah, as I say, we've got the boot fair video next week, but I had an absolutely amazing trip to the Isle of Wight this year. And yeah, at the moment I don't know where we're going next year, because the prices on the Isle of Wight have gone up quite a bit. So we're not going back there next year, but we will be going somewhere else. So let's see where that will be. So that is going to wrap the video up. So before you head off, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.